Welcome to TechSpace, and in this tutorial I want to go over having multiple conditions inside of an if statement. So if statements, as we went over earlier, were just you typed in if and you had, if x is greater than y. I think the example I did was then print out you win. Well, besides that, we went over the if-else statement. So if x ended up to be less than y, then we just run this statement. So what I want to go over now is, besides the if statement and the if-else statement, there's conditions that we can add in the if statement to make it a little bit easier, so that you don't have to write a whole bunch of if statements or a whole bunch of different if-else statements. So what we can do is say if x is greater than y, and let's create some variables first. So we're just going to say integer x is equal to 10, integer y is equal to 12, integer z is equal to 20, and we're just going to say f of x is less than or equal to 10, or fx, which is 10, is less than or equal to 12, which is y, and we can have this thing called logical operators. So what logical operators are basically what I just wrote. So we have less than or equal to. We've been using them the whole time. I just haven't really introduced them. So we have logical operators, and basically those are these. So we have less than, greater than, then we have less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So basically we can say if x is less than y, which obviously we know x is less than y, so we're going to make this a true if statement. We can use this logical operator and, or ampersand, which is the 7 button. Hold down shift, press the 7 button, and we're going to say and x is equal to 10, which is another logical operator. So we have, when we set something equal in an if statement, we can't just use one equal sign. We have to use two equal signs, because that's how it's denoted. So we're going to say if x is less than y, which it is, and x is equal to specifically 10, then you win. We run it and we see, okay, we won. Why? Because this condition is met perfectly. X is less than y and x is equal to 10. So again, when we're saying something inside of an if statement as a strict equality, so we're saying x is strictly 10, then we have to use two equal signs. When we're saying two conditions have to be true, then we have to use two ampersands. So I could also do, x is equal to 10, and we're going to say, and z is equal to 20. And run it again, and I still win because z is equal to 20. Now if I say and z is equal to 21, meaning all three of these have to be true, we see that this is going to be false. So what we should get is nothing back on our screen. See? So we get nothing back on our screen because it didn't meet all three of these criteria. So when it does meet all three, we get it. And it's because the condition is true, the condition being everything inside of our parameters in the if statement. So since the condition is true, we have the output of that set of rules inside of that program. So now what we have is, you could say, well, I want to know if x is less than y, or I want to win this game if x is less than y, or if x is, here, so we'll delete the z factor. So we're going to say if x is less than y and, well, we know and, so we're going to say or, which is this sign. So we use double bars to represent and. So the bar is above enter usually. Just for shift and the button above bar, or the button above enter, and that should be the bar button. And this basically says or. So we're saying if x is less than y, or we're going to say z is greater than or equal to 10, then we're going to win. Else, we're going to say you lose. And I'll just make this a little different. We're going to say string output 1 equal to you lose. And that way when I say cout for else, I can just say output 1 and that line, and then we're just going to say, you know, just have another output 2, we're going to say you lose, go home. And we're going to end that variable, and again these are string variables, so we're going to say output 1 in that line, and then we want to also say output 2 and in that one. So if x is less than y, which it is, and z is greater than or equal to 10, which it is, then I'm going to get you win, else it's going to say you lose, go home. So I get you win. Now since it's or, that means if either one of these are right, we're going to get we're basically going to get everything inside of this if statement returned to us, or returned as true. So if this condition is true, or if this condition is true, we'll get this result. But if they're both false, like say we say x is greater than y, which you know is false, and z is less than 10, then we know that both of these are going to be false. So since they're both false, we're going to get the else statement, which says you lose, go home, because neither of these is true. See, you lose, go home. So if that makes sense, you can sort of ignore these string variables. They're just, you know, to add a little bit extra. What I want to get across here is that there's things called logical operators, and I'll make a list right here. So we have, make a comment, logical operators, and these logical operators are and, bar, then we have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And the equal sign always goes on the right side. And then we also have is just strictly equal to. So these are the logical operators we can use. So and means that if both conditions are true, and this bar means if one of the conditions is true. Then we run the statements inside of that if statement. Else, if this fails and this statement is false, we're going to output this. So we have logical operators which can be used inside if statements, and later on you'll see they can be used in multiple different places and are very helpful, especially when doing math and calculations and even basic stuff within C++ and other programming languages. You'll need these logical operators as reference, and you'll need to know what they do, because in each programming language they're going to be virtually the same. But basically that's all I need to show you guys in this video. Make sure you understand how logical operators work, make sure you understand how to use them in if statements, and make sure you understand the variables, and that for each logical operator we are testing the condition for if one of the values is true, which is OR, if both of the values are true, if a value is less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or just plain equal to the other statement. And then if this is true, which this condition is true, then we run this code, else we run this body of code. And remember to use the braces, and for reference, if you click on one of them, it'll show you what group it belongs to. So as you can see, this belongs to the else group, these braces belong to the if group, and if I even click on main, it'll show me the end of the main group. So that's how you create if statements using logical operators, and this is how you use multiple conditions inside of if statements. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.